Hello everyone. Today I'll be presenting a paper titled Under Pressure: Exploring Choke and Clutch in Competitive Video Games. This work was published at KaiPlay 2021 and it explores what causes players to each choke or clutch under pressure in multiplayer games. The first author of this paper is Nicole Perez. She's a psychology researcher at the University of Saskatchewan, and her work focuses on user research in gaming. Her recent studies include topics like player experience, esports performance, toxicity, and motivation in online games. Let's start with the two main concepts, choke and clutch. Choking means failing in an important moment. In this lab list, you can see a frustrated player losing under pressure. On the other hand, clutching is about performing well even when the pressure is high. On the right, we can see a great example, Pacer's legendary outplay in the 2024 World Finals. Let's watch about what is clutch play.
Airing as the arrow goes wide, but Pinker's still here.
Take a look for that flank. We'll see the way to bring this one on. Gets flashes in, finds two. Equalizer on the back line as well. As Faker is not off this earth. He finds the engage. 하지만 사일러스라
이거
달리는데
낚아보자.
그리고 hul거.
근데 이게 백업이 튀나요?
네, 탑대도 이기토
터져요? 근데 여기도
탑대도 영혼의 일기토. 네, 진짜 너 뭐냐?
네, 그 사이에 위쪽에 에크비오
여기
레드 잡았고 옷도 잡았어요.
점핑, 점핑.
그 사이에 이미 페이커가 또 들이죠.
맞아요.
또
하면 되고요. 페이커 내봐라.
Wow, that kind of moment is what we call a clutch performance. To understand why people choke or clutch, the authors look at sports psychology. Choking happens when people overthink and lose their natural automatic skills. Clutch is the opposite. It's when someone stays calm and focused and plays even better under pressure. They also found four key factors. First is reinvestment. When people switch from automatic actions to step-by-step thinking. Second is self-consciousness, like feeling nervous when being watched. Third is passion, and last is coping style. I'll later explain these factors more deeply. In this study, the authors wanted to explore what makes players choke or clutch under pressure. They asked three main research questions. First, are some personality traits related to choking or clutching? Second, does the type of passion matter? And third, do the ways players cope with stress affect performance? This study used an online survey with competitive gamers on mTurk. In total, 210 valid participants joined. Most were in their 30s, had over 10 years of gaming experience, and played more than 13 hours a week. Some even had professional esports experience. The survey asked about how often players choke or clutch and measured traits like reinvestment, self-consciousness, and passion. It also looked at how people cope with pressure. The researchers used regression analysis to find out which traits matter the most. Based on the data, they ran deeper analysis to understand what affects choking or clutching. We'll look at those results one research question at a time. Let's look at the first research questions. First, reinvestment. This means thinking too much about how to perform a skill. Players who do this tend to choke more, but it doesn't really help or hurt clutch performance. Next, self-consciousness. Public self-consciousness, like being aware of how others see you, makes players choke more. But private self-consciousness, focusing on your own thoughts, helps players clutch. And interestingly, people with more social anxiety are less likely to clutch in big moments. Our second research question look at passion. First, harmonious passion means you love the game, but keeps balance in life. This didn't really affect choking or clutching, but obsessive passion when the game becomes everything was linked to more choking. It didn't help with the clutching either, so being overly obsessed may hurt performance under pressure. Our last question is about coping style. We found that players who try to face stress directly or avoid it completely both tend to choke more. But coping style didn't make a difference in clutch situations. In short, no matter how players deal with stress, just feeling stressed made choking more likely. Let's sum up what the study found. Players with more experience choked less and clutched more. Age didn't really matter. Traits like reinvestment, public self-consciousness, obsessive passion, and both coping styles were all linked to more choking. But players who want more privately self-aware clutched more, and players with more social anxiety clutched less. Let's look at the practical implications. First, for esports training, teams can use traits tests to check if a player is more likely to choke. Then, they can give players the right training. For example, someone who overthinks can practice focusing on automatic skills. A player who feels nervous in front of people can train with an audience to feel more comfortable. Next, game design can help too. Games can hide things like viewer numbers or scores that make players nervous. They can also show team progress instead of personal scores to reduce pressure. Also, this research reminds us that emotional control is important. Players who know how to take breaks, calm down, or avoid negative thoughts can stay in better state during matches. Game companies can help by removing ranked promotion games to reduce stress. Lastly, the study suggests more research is needed. We should listen to how real players feel when they choke or clutch, and we should learn more than tilt when people get angry or give up, and how to stop it. There are a few limitations to keep in mind. First, the study relied on self-reports. That means some players may not give fully accurate answers, especially when it comes to say they choked. Second, the coughing questions in the survey were designed for stress or failure, so they didn't always apply well to clutch moments. Also, most of the participants were not pro players, so the finding might not generalize to high-level esports athletes. Finally, players came from many game genres, like shooters or MOBAs. Choking and clutching might look different depending on the game type. In conclusion, the study found that some traits like obsession passion or self-consciousness make players more likely to choke. On the other hand, experience and private focus can support clutch performance. This gave us useful ideas for both coaching and game design. For example, training can be customized to the player's strengths, and games could reduce pressure by hiding things like rankings. Future research should study pro players more directly and look closely at how tilt and emotion affect performance under pressure. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.